I know the folks at Bull, Marcus 1225 numbers after the name of the game's beating action over here. A little Secret of Mana. About that, man. A little throwback over here, man. The second, I believe this is correct. This is factual. The second game on my SNES Mini that I've beaten. Thus far, it's pretty early on in the game over here in Gaia's Navel, which, why would you name one of the earliest, or any area of the game, but definitely one of the earliest areas in your game after a navel? That, my friends, I do not have an explanation for in this video. But I literally, like, looked at it like 3 or 4 times. I kept looking at the map and stuff. I kept, you know, not the map, but the little signpost, whatever, tell you where to go. Just to double check, I was like, they're saying Gaia's Navel, right? Like, Navel, that's where I gotta go? Alright. So, Secret of Mana was a tough game for me to overall kind of rate, man. Because, you know, you gotta take into account when this game came out. It was like 96, 95, 90, maybe 92, 93, and even early, I don't know, somewhere around there, man. And I think young Marcos, you know, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9-year-old Marcos would have loved this game, and I probably would have given it a 9.5 out of 10 out of 10. I would have been just like completely enamored by everything about it. An action RPG at this point in time, right? Like historically speaking, what we're talking about here in the Super Nintendo, an action RPG, real-time, like, fighting that you could play co-op with up to 3 people, even though I wouldn't have no multi-tap or anything, so it'd just be 2, but still, you have 2 people simultaneously fighting. That to me would have just been like mind-blowing. I would have been like, what, this is crazy. I would have been leveling up out of the wazoo. I would have been doing all the good stuff they used to do when you were a kid, grinding these RPGs and just playing them over and over again. Marcos, when he's 29, 29? Gotta think about it. 999. Gotta think about it a couple times. It wasn't that big of a fan of Secret of Mana, right? I ain't got anybody to play with me, man. My girl didn't play with me. I offered a couple friends. They wouldn't make it or whatever. So I ain't got nobody to come recruit over here to play Secret of Mana. Plus, honestly, if you don't like start playing it at the beginning, it's kind of a little bit difficult to kind of hop in a little bit later. The AI isn't really the smartest. It's actually pretty shitty, but I mean, for the time, it was like amazing. But now it's like, whoa, this guy's just like a pain in my ass. This girl's just a pain in my ass. Whatever they're doing. A lot of the stuff at the end of the game, it was still beatable, but like it wasn't enjoyable. So, one of the things about this game that makes it substantially easier is if you level up the magics, and you have like a bunch of different magic. 2 characters that can use magic, and you know, you have to like level them up individually, which is basically just using them a lot. And that's fine, but I didn't find any reason to even use magic. Like, for the most part, I did sometimes, but for the most part, I didn't really find any like need necessarily to use it. So I didn't really have it all that leveled up until you get to like one of the final bosses, and you all of a sudden need like the spell like level 7 to make it like a lot easier. And you're like, what the hell? On the last boss, you like specifically need to like power up the mana sword, and the other 2 people in their party need to kind of you kind of have to like back to back use this like special magic to put your mana, to infuse your mana sword with like the mana power or whatever, and then you hit the guy to actually hurt him. And you kind of can't hurt him unless you do that, but you kind of can. It's a little bit difficult to explain. By the way, if you don't have those magics leveled up, that fight becomes very tedious. And for me, it was really funny. I looked it up because I went against the guy. I was very tired of playing the game at that point. It was, you know, it was, I don't know, probably like an 18-hour game, maybe 15, 18-hour game, maybe. Secret of Mana, something around those lines. So I was already kind of tired of it by the time I got to the end, and I ready to run into a couple bosses where I kind of had to use that magic stuff that I was talking about, and I didn't really want to go and sit down and just you know, crank all that stuff out and whatnot. So when I got to that guy and I saw it and I got my ass kicked, it was like 1 in the morning or something like that, and he kicked my ass the first time pretty quickly because I didn't know what I was doing. And then I kind of figured out, I read like the text order, I was like, I got to do this mana thing, whatever. Did the mana thing, actually caused some damage on him. I was like, all right, that's cool. I heard him, word. And then I fought the guy for like 45 minutes, and until I ran out of MP, I ran out of everything. I didn't have like that many items left or anything. It just sucked, and I was like, what the hell happened here, man? So I went to the YouTube, man. When I got to work back at my old job, I went to the YouTubes, and I looked up how to beat this guy. And obviously, the first thing I found was like some guy who destroyed him in like 30 seconds or something like that, because he was like uber souped up. And I was like, all right. So I YouTubed. This is great. I YouTubed Regular Joe beating Secret of Mana. Like, how the hell does that go? So I found somebody who was actually a little bit lower level than me. in the game. And I was like, all right, cool. Let's see how this guy does it. And he beat it in like 5 minutes. And I was like, word? And he did pretty much the same thing I did. He just did it like a little bit quicker and a little bit earlier. He did the spell and whatnot. And I was like, maybe I'll do that, man. Yeah, it still took me like 45 minutes to beat him, man. But I got him, and, you know, it was a big celebration. It was almost like a Dark Souls moment when you, like, take down a really tough boss. I just walked it off. I started cursing. You know, I'm not going to say all the stuff I said over here, but it definitely wasn't, you know, it was rated all kind of content, you know, rated M for mature. And yes, that was the end of Secret of Mana. But like I said, it's a little bit tough game for me to score, man. Back in the day, I'd definitely give this like a 9.5. Easy. Now I'm going to give it like a 7. Like, I enjoyed my time with it, but the flaws like did not carry over well, like to like present day, man. The silly AI character, where like it's cool that they got to give you this process of whether you could have it attack or not, but it doesn't really work that well. The having to grind out the magic and stuff like that, I didn't really enjoy that part at all. The actual combat itself is okay once you kind of figure out the charge mechanics and the little invincibility frames and whatnot. I think that part still holds up pretty well. Graphically, I think it holds up pretty well. The music was very good. But it's that like RPG grind that made the game artificially more difficult and longer towards the end. That to me just puts a bad taste in my mouth, you know. But overall, man, I would definitely still play it. I think it'd be very fun co-op. I'd kind of be curious to see. I think it'd probably be easier co-op in a lot of circumstances, and I might go back and play a co-op if I ever get the opportunity to, for sure. So games beaten, man. Whew, it's probably number 9, number 10 of the year, man. We're working through them, son. Next game, completely opposite of this, by miles.